I am ready.
Awesome. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Hey team, welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm good to see you sitting here with my compadre and amigo Jason. And today we have the top 10 prepping priorities, if you will. And often I think these are things that go untalked about and unacknowledged for the most part out in the community. So we're going to break this down into two different videos. We're going to get 5 here, and you got to go over to Jason's site or channel, if you will, and get the other 5. So look for a link down in the description as well as a card up top and at the end, and we will keep this conversation rolling. Make sure that you leave some comments down below about what you thought about what we brought to the table, as well as what you think that we missed that should have been added into the conversation. So my top one, Jason,
Number one.
number one is you got to get your mind right.
Get your mind right.
Get your mind right.
That's right.
I don't mean that like a cliche or anything, like, yeah, you got to get right mindset or anything, but if you look out in the world around us, if you turn on the news and you look at how many people get sucked into changing their mind based off of what they receive into themselves, you know?
Okay.
People absolutely lose their minds over things that are outside of control.
Yeah, that's a big one. I always get really interested in seeing people lose their minds over stuff they cannot do anything about.
Yeah.
You know, what's going on in Hollywood, what's happening in Washington, D.C., what's happening with the Texas border. Can you do anything about it? What are you freaked out about?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And some of the stuff matters not one iota.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it may matter. Like, you should have awareness
Sure.
of things as it relates to national security or things of this nature. But there's just so much that we have control over here in our community, in our town,
Right.
that we need to get right. And so I know this is going to touch base on a lot of other things that we're going to talk about, but I think just dialing ourselves back and trying to have a realistic view of the things that are in our control, get our mind right, make sure our values are right, make sure our why, we talk about that a lot, right? You have to get the why right first.
Yep.
And then everything else kind of falls into place.
Yeah, I think that's good. Controlling the controllable,
Yeah.
right? Fix what needs to be fixed in your world,
Right.
right? Have a positive influence on the people around you. I think that's it, man. Get your mind right. That's it. I think that's a great number one.
Video done.
That's it.
That's it.
It's a good number one. Perfect. All
So
right.
what you got?
So my number one is going to be food.
Okay.
Food, and not just stockpiling. Preppers, when you talk to preppers, they're always talking about stacking cans, right?
Yeah.
How many cans of beans do you got? How many bags of rice do you have? Which I think is very important. I think it's like having an insurance policy, right? I think it's super important. But beyond food, I think you need to have a way to produce your own food.
Okay.
I think that that's smart. I think that is the way. That's the way we should be living our lives. We should be producing some of our own food.
Yeah.
I don't think realistically we can produce all of our own food. I mean, even me on the land that I have, I think it'd be really, really difficult to do 100%. Not impossible, but very difficult.
Yeah.
And I'd be giving up a lot of things to be able to do
Right.
that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Right.
Yeah. So I think that it's important to at least, supplement our diet with the food that we are growing, raising, whatever, animals, livestock, eggs, whatever.
What are you working on now?
So I've got chickens.
A bunch of chickens.
Yeah, I got about 22 chickens, give or take. Give or take. I haven't done a head count in a while, but about 22 chickens. I had 32 ducks. But
Gosh, dang.
We're down to about 24, 25 ducks. We lost a bunch when the cold snap that we had. And I'm trying to balance out how much feed I'm feeding them, because I'm feeding the animals a lot. Why don't I just go buy eggs?
Right, exactly.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So I'm trying to figure out that balance, and with that comes some struggles and some mistakes. So I'm working on that, trying to figure that out. But yeah, I've got critters, eggs, lots of eggs, and actually the ducks aren't doing very well with eggs right now. But I'm working on that. Going to figure that out, and then I've got.
Are you getting more eggs than you can eat?
Yeah,
right now,
the chickens are in the wintertime. The chickens slow down, but they're still laying more eggs than we eat typically, which is nice. I'm having to purposefully eat more eggs to keep up, which is really good. And I don't feed the chickens at all, which is cool. Other than like a handful of scraps here and there. So that's really cool. I think that's important. And then having a garden, growing your vegetables, all that stuff is really important. But as far as like bulk calories and stuff, it's hard to beat eggs and meat.
Yeah, no doubt. I like to feed chickens eggs.
Yeah.
You dirty little heathens, eat yourself.
That's right. In a perfect world, this was my plan. In a perfect world, I was going to have so many eggs. Like I had 50 birds, give or take. And that was going to be a lot of friggin' eggs. Yeah. And that's way more than I could consume with my family. And I wasn't going to go sell them at farmers markets and all that stuff. Right. I was going to feed them back to the animals. Yeah. I was going to feed them to the dogs and the cats. Right. And they love all that stuff. And the birds. I was going to give the duck eggs to the chickens and the chicken eggs to the ducks. Like, not that it matters, but you get what I'm saying. And that was my plan. And that's what I was going to do. But, we'll see how the egg production goes. And if we have a big surplus, I'll still do that.
Do you glass your eggs for storage?
I haven't done that yet. They never last.
Right. Because you eat them.
Yeah,
right.
No,
that's a good problem to have.
Yep.
I think that kind of caveats into my second priority, which is having some skills, right?
Skills.
You talk about, we should have food, and I agree.
So this is number 3, by the way?
Okay. This is my number 2, total number 3. We need to know how to work with our hands and do some man stuff.
Man skills.
You need to chop a dadgum tree down.
Yeah.
Right? But when it comes to like gardening, like we can all say, and I'm sure everybody would agree, that being able to supplement your food with what you can do at your house is a good thing. But until you go through the process of figuring out what works and when to do it and how to do it, like you're never gonna know how to do it.
The learning curve is steep.
Yeah,
it sure is. You're gonna fail a lot.
And it's better to do it now when you don't need to.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
Right. You can fail right now. It's no big deal.
Because currently it's cheaper to go buy food than it is to grow it and make it yourself. Yeah. It really is. I'm working on that, but that's the thing. It's easier now, so make the mistakes now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's going to be a lot of mistakes.
Right.
Like I've killed a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Not just animals, but I've killed a lot of plants. A lot of plants have died at my wrongdoing.
Right.
So
and they're all lessons learned.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. So gardening is a huge skill that we need to become better at. Carpentry and electrical work.
Huge.
We need to
know how to fix stuff.
Yeah.
Man, just basic man things.
Right.
Like know how to frame a wall.
Right.
Basic stuff, like not crazy, and it's not that difficult. Like it seems overwhelming at first. I was in the same boat. I didn't grow up in the trades doing the stuff. I learned it. I had to learn it so I could produce income for my family when I moved back. So I just learned how to build things.
Yeah.
It seems overwhelming at first, but it's not. Like it's just you just get started and start figuring it out, make some mistakes, whack your thumb a few times with the hammer, and you'll and then eventually you'll be able to build I could build a house now.
Right. Yeah.
I could start from finish, build a house now. I mean, it would be hard, but I could do it.
Right.
I have the skills to do it, and it only didn't take me that long to gain those skills.
Yeah, and I think we love to focus on survival skills and primitive skill, and I love all of that to death.
Yeah, also important.
Also important.
Yeah,
but I think especially in today's age where we become over reliant on other people doing the things for us,
call a guy.
Yeah, we just call a guy, and it's just too easy to shell out money. Just like buying a can of peas, it's just easier and cheaper to do it sometimes.
It is, yeah.
But we miss out on stuff.
Yeah.
Like learn how to use a saws. Learn how to use a framing square. Like there's just so much you can do. So
learn how to work on basic mechanicking stuff. Like how do you change the serpentine belt on your truck, or change oil, change tires? How can you replace the jets on a carburetor on a whatever, a small engine or something like that.
Can you skin a deer or a rabbit, right? All of the things.
Basic man skills that only get acquired by doing. You can't read a book, you can't watch a video and know how to do it.
Right.
You'll have a concept at best.
Right, exactly.
But you've got to go do the stuff and put in the time and effort to learn things. And I'm just as guilty of it as anybody else is, take an easy route sometimes, but if you want to grow and progress with your man skills, you got to do stuff.
You got to do it. Awesome.
Yeah.
So what you got next?
Where are we at? My second one. Oh, big one. This is a big one, and it may come before food. I'm not sure yet. I haven't decided, but we're going to put it right here.
I know what he's going to say.
Yeah, we're going to put it here anyway. This is investing time, energy, resources, everything you have into your family and your friends.
Right.
Because if you don't have a solid family unit and or a solid group of friends around you, and difficult times come upon us, you will struggle.
Right.
Without question, it's going to be very, very difficult if you don't have help.
Mm-hmm.
Human beings were not designed to live alone and do all the things by ourselves.
Yeah.
We can do it for a while, but eventually it's not going to work anymore. Something's going to happen and you will need help. And if you have not invested time and energy and resources and all the things into people, family, and friends, now when times get hard and if people are more untrusting of individuals, try to make friends after the SHTF.
Right.
That's going to be really hard.
Really hard.
It's going to be really hard because everybody's going to be a little bit on guard.
Right. No
trust. Everybody's going to keep a little bit further distance, and you're just not going to know who's who. What's the angle? What are you after? Because people are more desperate and all the things. And SHTF aside, I think that this is huge because you get your truck stuck in the mud. Right. Who do you call?
You're
going to call a wrecker.
Ain't going to be Ghostbusters.
Yeah, that's right. You're going to call a wrecker and spend hundreds of dollars, or you're going to call your buddy with a chain in his truck and he's going to pull you out. It's a no-brainer to me to do this. Mm-hmm. Friends, family. If you are not putting your family first, your wife first, and putting a lot of time into making this solid, you're going to regret it.
I could not agree more, and I think one of the biggest challenges that we have with our family and our friends as far as a competency to increase on would just be resilience. Mm-hmm. Because there is nobody who will hurt you quicker than your spouse, than your kids, than your mom, your dad, your siblings. And sometimes those hard times, they can last for decades. Mm-hmm. But then we all know, at the end of that time, if things get cut short or, if SHTF comes, we know who we're going to turn back to. We know what we're going to regret that we would have done, which was to make those relationships right.
Yeah. And that's the whole, and for me, that's why I probably should have put it number one, because it's the whole point of all this anyway.
Right.
If it was just me and I was just solo Jason out here, I would probably live in some shack that I built in the woods in the middle of absolute nowhere with no electricity and stuff, and just be living my life like that as a homeless vagabond wandering the country. Mm-hmm. That's probably what I would be, but and I'd be a lot less happy because of that choice. The fact that I chose a family and I chose this lifestyle makes it all worth it for me. And the reason I do all the preparedness, and I've learned how to stockpile foods for long periods of time, and the reason I'm growing things and boosting security and stuff like that around my property is because I care about my family. Yeah. The reason I work out and stay fit is because, several reasons, but a primary reason is because I can be a better protector and provider of my family. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Speaking of top priorities, this is going to be my third one here in this one, and it should close this one out. But it's something I think that a lot of people don't get right. And I think it's easier for us to kind of get right where we live and how we live. But I think of the masses in the United States, one of the hardest priorities to get right and to get under control is water.
Yeah.
It's easy for us if we live off a well, we have some running water that's near us, to have some kind of a supply that's handy. But you think pound for pound, what do you need the most of?
Water.
I mean, that's 8 pounds per
and
gallon.
You need it fast.
Right? Yeah.
It's not like you can go a day without drinking water.
Right.
And you're going to be looking
sucking life.
You're going to be looking for water.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be thinking about anything else.
Right.
Where am I going to get the next drink of water?
And a lot of dudes out there, and I know, nobody says go out and buy bottled water and store it or anything, but I know that's what a lot of people do. Yeah. But when you think of the volume that you get out of a case of water, it's nothing.
It's not going to last you very long.
Right?
Yeah. It's like a drop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When you consider all of the cooking that you have to do in addition to the hygiene, nobody talks about sanitation or hygiene or, cooking and cleaning. Like you're on the high side, you're probably talking 3 gallons of water per person per day. to cover everything as we do it now.
Cooking, cleaning,
Yeah.
drinking, washing, everything. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And that's
Easily
a ton.
that.
That's a ton.
Easily 3 gallons a day, I would
Right.
say. And that's, and what's your plan? Like a lot of people, you'll ask them, like right now, you guys watching, let's say you live in suburbia,
Right.
And you don't have a well. Even if you do, we'll come back to that, but if you don't have a well and there's city water flowing into your home and suddenly the water stops flowing for whatever reason, it doesn't matter the reason, what will you do for your next drink of water?
Right.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Do you have a plan? If you don't have a plan, it better be better than just a 24-pack of bottled water in the closet. You got to come up with something real quick.
Right.
That's a big deal, and that could happen anytime.
Anytime.
Mm-hmm.
And it does happen all the time. It may not go beyond 72 hours, in the event of a hurricane or something like that. Like most of the time, water comes back up pretty quick. And the reason that water went out was because power went out. Right.
Typically, yeah.
And so the tanks that are pushing out by gravity are not refilling.
Right.
But in the event, if that happens, when you think about whether it's how much supply you already have, there's all kinds of things you can do, from using water bladders in your tub.
Yep.
Not
a bad idea.
Filling your tub,
especially for short-term survival stuff, like hurricane comes through, or whatever. Fill your tub up with water, and you got, I don't know, what's a tub hold? 50 gallons of water. Yeah, a lot. So yeah, it's really smart stuff.
Certainly enough for a few days, anyway.
Yeah.
For you to think about time.
Yep.
To figure out your next plan.
Yep.
Right.
And generally speaking, power's going to come back on eventually in good times, but you can't always count on that. Don't just assume that it's going to come back on and the water's going to start flowing again. Yeah. So alternative ways of collecting it, gathering it, purifying it in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
It's not easy, man. Like I'm thinking of like my brother-in-law, sister-in-law. They live in a big, huge neighborhood. If water stopped flowing to their house, they've got 2 options really, and that's rain collection, or they're going to be trucking it on really steep terrain to get to like a lake or a stream, and then somehow get it back up to their house. And that's not going to be easy. Yeah, that's going to be really tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, if you live in an urban environment, like we take a lot of things for granted because of the resources that we have here, and you figured that out for yourself, leave a comment down below about what you are currently doing, or if you just have a great idea for all of the folks who are out there who are thinking now, holy crap, I only have 10 gallons of water in the house, and I need to figure out how to get more. Leave a comment down below.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Was that 5?
That was the 5 for this one.
First 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to jump ship from here and head on over to Jason's channel.
On 3. ONTHREE. Check it out. Link in the description.
Absolutely.
Somewhere up in the
and
top.
Card at the end and all that stuff.
All right.
It's over there.
It's over there somewhere.
Yeah.
Perfect. And you'll get the next 5.
Absolutely.
All right. Cool.
Hey, team, I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.